show reports, the embattled musician was invited to assist in ongoing investigations into a 2019 Lamborghini Urus vehicle, which we understand is a luxury format of it, which American authorities have now identified as proceeds of a $4 million fraud case involving a Ghanaian national, Nana Kwabena Amwa, who is currently serving a jail term back in the U.S. We'll take you shortly to give you a sense of what transpired today and is still transpiring at the head office of EOCO shortly. As we understand, scores of fans and supporters have been pouring out onto the streets of Accra in a humble plea, first of all, for mercy for Shatta Wale, who's now allegedly being connected to this $4 million fraud case. But first, my colleague Michael Niashali has been taking a look at a statement released a couple of hours ago from the same office where Shatta Wale is being kept. Michael, let's get into it now, because we're wondering what more we know about this invitation extended to the dancehall musician Shatta Wale. What is EOCO telling us about circumstances surrounding his invitation?
Well, so, Blessed, first of all, the EOCO starts from their collaboration with the FBI and the U.S. State Department of Justice in this particular case that they were dealing with in their country. Now, beyond what they have done, we know the arrest that effected in Ghana and took the person back to the U.S. to serve his term. What really has happened is that the judge in that case made a ruling which effectively says that you cannot, you have to necessarily return that particular stolen vehicle to the country and back to the original owner, and that's exactly what was supposed to have been done. But again, there was
by the United States courts in question here.
Yes, so this was the order, and EOCO is the one in Ghana that's supposed to effect some of these orders in the country. That's how come months ago in May they actually went, when they found the vehicle in the possession of Shatta Wale, they actually went to his home where they went to actually retrieve the vehicle. Now, subsequent to that, there was a second order that came from the United States, which is that they now want to find co-conspirators in this bigger money laundering or alleged money laundering scheme of $4 million. And that is exactly what they've commenced, which is why they went ahead. Yes,
it's now being invited.
Exactly. That is why they went ahead to invite Shatta Wale to the offense. This is what we were told, that on the 15th of August 2025, the United States Court of the Eastern District of Kentucky, Central Division of Lexington, a criminal case of the United States of America, issued an order for fitting substitute asset on the Lamborghini Urus in question, authorizing the U.S. U.S. government to take possession of the said vehicle.
I see.
Now, on August 5th, which is just this month, 2025, following a public claim by he himself, Shatta Wale, that he purchased the car at a price of $150,000 from an unidentified party, EOCO issued an invitation to him, which was supposed to honor today. Now, it tells us that invitation they were meant to honor it yesterday at 10 a.m. They called that they prefer 11. That at 11 or minutes to 11, they called the EOCO and said that, well, we cannot do 11. And currently my client is also busy and cannot come. And there's an order that you cannot fail to meet this particular
because you ought to appear before EOCO. And that's eventually how come, did. And that's how come he's being detained now, because of the time he arrived, isn't it?
The detention is not necessarily because of the time he arrived. Right. Now, he arrived at 11, we are told by the statement, but his lawyers didn't do so until 6 hours later. They came at 5 p.m. And that was when they could begin some interrogation. Shatta Wale initially refused to partake in any interrogation without his lawyers, and that's why they had to wait. Ordinarily, you know that EOCO would have closed at 5 p.m., but they had to wait until 9 p.m.
I see. And that's why this is traveling all throughout the night. And in fact, even as we speak, the dancehall musician is still in the custody of EOCO. But tonight, we're confirming a few things, which we'll hear from Shatta himself. The issue about the car. Has he accepted responsibility for purchasing that vehicle in the first place?
Well, so it tells us that EOCO's investigators started the interrogation after 5 p.m. when the lawyers for Shatta Wale came through. It tells us that he was granted bail at 9 p.m. shortly after interrogation, and then he was granted bail of 10 million Ghana, which is now public knowledge. They tell us so far, Charles Niyama,
who is the artist now?
Yes, Shatta Wale has been unable to identify the person from whom he purchased the said Lamborghini Urus vehicle, except to say that he purchased it from the street. And this is in quotes.
That's the word he used. So he's being quoted here.
EOCO says, or is quoting Shatta Wale to have said, that he purchased this Lamborghini, the yellow one, from the street.
And street meaning here?
Well, the statement
not
rather
clear.
goes on to say that, and from someone possibly called, again, another quote, Zach, Z-A-K, who may have contacted him on WhatsApp, but whose identity he does not know, and whose contact he says again he has thrown away. So far, Charles Nyama Mensah does not also possess any documentation in terms of receipt or transfer document which shows that he owns or purchased the said vehicle, except a custom declaration document in his possession bearing the name of Nana Kwabena Amoah, who is currently in jail and serving in the U.S.
Bizarre, isn't it? Because if you listen to the account of Shatta Wale earlier when he honored the earlier invitation, the first one actually, Shatta Wale was confident that he had all documentation in his possession and that it was rather the case that he was not treated right by Raymond Acha, who's one of the top officials there at EOCO. Let's listen to that briefly so we can dig into the matters.
And this is where I want every Ghanaian, every blogger that you are writing and you don't know what you are writing about. This is where I want you to take note that today, the reason why I wrote Raymond Acha's name on my Facebook page was that the approach he gave me in that office on that fateful day was the most scariest thing that traumatized me up to now. But I've kept my cool. Baba, we enter the office inside, no. You know, when they walk from me, they come. They tell me, say, listen, Shatta, Edu Boy is going down. Listen to what I'm saying, Ghana. So that if somebody come my house, where I say I'm not going to go anywhere, make nobody come even tell me, say, Shatta, what did you know they try? It's too much. Why? They use power, they abuse people. Why? For your office, they give me warning. Say, if I don't know, Edu Boy, they go down. But he's telling me that wherever all the cars that Edu Boy has given me and I'm hiding, if I don't show them, he will take me, he will give me to the FBI and whatever. And I say, oh, Chema, relax for me. Oh, Chema, yeah, come here in peace. Oh, like the way they talk, like, Chema, yeah, this matter you talk. I don't know anything about this matter.
And that was Charles Nyama Mensah, Shatta Wale as is popularly known, who was just speaking days before the second invitation. Little did he know that he'll be spending more than a night in the custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. But scores of people joining us tonight as we try and understand what exactly is going on at the EOCO headquarters now, where we understand scores of fans and notable figures in the music industry have started pouring in solidarity for Charles Nyama Mensah Shatta Wale. We'll get there shortly with my colleague who's just returned from there, Kenneth Gyasi. But also joining the conversation tonight is Peter Lonchini Tobu, who's Wale West Member of Parliament, member of the Interior and Defence Committee as well, knows a lot into policing because he was a former police chief himself. Alfred Tiayabo is former Deputy Attorney General. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. But first, let's understand what's happening at the EOCO head office so I can bring you all in. Ken, let's start off with it. We got wind of it earlier today, but the indication is that this interrogation started last night. Paint a picture to us about the atmosphere, first of all, that we have at EOCO and what's happening now.
Well, Blizzard, it's a very euphoric atmosphere when you get to EOCO. You can actually sense that there's something going on there. Some of the supporters actually tell me that they started massing up at the place at around 5 a.m.
As early as 5?
As early as 5 a.m. Most of them say they have abandoned their work. Some of them, students, also say that they have abandoned class to actually come and support Shatta Wale. And it's interesting because as the day went by, you would see different group of supporters, some from Nima, some from Ashaiman, some from the various communities.
And I like the way you stress these communities because for Shatta Wale, that's the street to him.
Exactly. He says he's the king of the street, and it was evident today at EOCO office today that he is indeed the king of the streets. You see a lot of these individuals lining up at the office chanting the release of Shatta Wale, saying no Shatta Wale, no vote.
And what's that supposed to mean, by the way?
I have no idea. So, I mean, there were a series of chants that, they were singing there, demanding the immediate release of Shatta Wale because according to them, the dancehall king has done nothing wrong.
This is the issue. What's the plea really? Is it just for his release, or they have a message for Raymond Acha? Because some of them seem to be mentioning his name as well.
Well, so according to some of them, it's merely a witch hunting. That's what they claim, that they are witch hunting Shatta Wale. I tried to explain to them that these are the charges that have been leveled against him. And they said that Shatta Wale is not guilty of any of those charges. So according to them, it's just a mere witch hunting.
In my view, Shatta Wale is preventing himself. Let me say, in my condition, example like me, if I bought something, if it is a selling thing, and you come to me, oh, Mr. Prince, where did you get this thing? It's a selling thing. I have to tell you, this person bought it for me. It's right. No one is above the law. We're not saying that Shatta Wale is above the law. No. We are pleading to the government that for the sake of Shatta Wale, the fans, you know, law doesn't govern that thing. But Shatta Wale is not a criminal. Shatta Wale is not a bad person. It's a star. Let me tell you something. I am not saying it, but I want to say it. See, if they didn't release Shatta Wale within 24 hours, you will see the crowd over here.
I'm doing my own job, but how can Shatta Wale buy a stolen car? Me, I don't understand. Did you understand my point? Are you getting me now? He can't buy a stolen car because it has been shipped. It has been shipped. It has been shipped, so he can't buy a stolen car.
EOCO says he's unable to identify who sold him the car.
So what I'm trying to say is that Raymond Acha should try as much as he can to temper justice with mercy. And when it comes to entertainment, he's one of our greatest entertainers that we have here in the country, yeah?
Okay, the concerns there at the headquarters of EOCO, where we understand a lot is happening, with scores of fans of Shatta pouring out and asking EOCO to temper justice with mercy. Let's bring in Peter Tobu, the MP, and also Alfred Tiayabo, as well as Frank Atanle Kofiga, Executive Secretary, Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I want to start off with you, Honorable Tobu, the point, first of all, about the plea that this state agency at least considers the atmosphere on the basis of security, just to allow Shatta Wale go, because the numbers keep pouring in to the headquarters of EOCO.
So thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me take this chance to say good evening to your cherished listeners. Organized crime requires a lot of international collaboration to unravel deep secrets behind such crimes. The fact of the matter is that Shatta Wale, my beloved Shatta Wale, I love him. But the fact that I love him doesn't mean that he's above the law. Nobody's above the law. But nobody's also saying that Shatta Wale has committed a crime. And that is why investigations are ongoing. But the crux of the matter is that what I'm seeing is that Shatta is deemed to have profited from the proceeds of crime. And the vessel got to Ghana in the name of the convict Nana Kobna Amwa. Nana Kobna Amwa has his name on the documents at the port. So if Shatta had bought the vehicle from the port from whoever, at least there's to be documentation to show that I have bought this vehicle from this person and I've changed ownership and it is not mine. If that is not done, I think that let's assume Kobna Amwa had shipped the vehicle to Ghana. It's proceeds of crime. He shipped it to Ghana and probably he was coming to use it. And if Shatta happened to be a friend and he says, clear this vehicle and keep it, I'll count for it. It is for Shatta to just say, yes, I didn't buy it. I only credit for a friend, but I got to realize that he's a criminal and he's been convicted in the U.S. and this vehicle belongs to him. If it is proceeds of crime, they take the vehicle back to the U.S. and you are a free person. If you also bought it without knowing, of course, you are trying to get connected to the crime. But, my good friend, Lawyer Achua will tell you, it's all about the intent. Did you have the intent to commit the crime? Are you aware that it's a stolen property? Even looking at the price that you were offered, does it suggest to you that this could be a stolen property? If honestly in your heart you bought the vehicle not knowing that it has anything to do with crime, the state of Ghana will look at it. But the U.S. is interested in the vehicle. They are not interested in Shatta Wale.
I see.
But Ghana is also interested in the fact that Shatta should not be part of the organized crime. So investigation will have to absolve Shatta of any offense and Shatta will be free to go. If Shatta is deemed to have committed any offense,
And I love the way you describe Shatta Wale, isn't it? You say he's your beloved Shatta Wale. And not just you, but many more in the National Democratic Congress. This is one figure who supported even the president. And you see many of his fans seemingly disappointed in your party for not at least coming through for him, just to secure a bill, not necessarily, shielding him from any wrongdoing.
But I think that he's been granted bail. After the interrogation around 11 p.m. or 9 p.m., he was granted bail. Probably it's the bail condition that somebody needs to get sureties, and then Shatta will walk out of EOCO, and then the case is not dead. The case continues. Granting bail, maybe everybody has a right. Every offense committed in Ghana, you can be given bail. So Shatta Wale has a right to be granted bail, and EOCO has granted the bail.
Okay. Great. Hold on for us. Lawyer Alfred Tiayeboah, you've been former Deputy Attorney General. Will this case hold? Mind you, this is a transnational alleged crime in its nature. The artist involved says, well, I only took possession of a vehicle which I was in the process or have actually bought with my cash. He was in no position, perhaps, to verify if the car was stolen from the U.S. or not, a jurisdiction which is way far away from, miles apart.
Thank you very much, Blessed. Yes, Shatta Wale, as we all know, is a popular musician, and I also have to indicate that he's one of my popular musicians. But as explained by Honorable, the law is no respecter of person.
We seem to be having some feedback there. But Lawyer Tiayeboah, I hope you can hear me clearly now.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, apologies. Yes.
All right. So when it comes to transnational crimes or economic and financial crimes, it is the responsibility of EOCO to investigate. And from what we are hearing, they are doing investigations based on a request or in collaboration with the U.S. authorities. So it is fair to state that EOCO has not acted outside its mandate. When it comes to the investigation of financial crimes as well as economic crimes, it takes a lot. If you look at this particular matter, it is alleged that he had, or either he is in possession of a stolen property or he has acquired a stolen property. As to whether he is guilty, I would not be in a position to pronounce. However, in looking at the matter, you may also have to look at the intent. Is this someone who purchased this vehicle as a bona fide purchaser for value without notice? Or is it the case that he's taking the vehicle as a conduit on behalf of another person?
Mm-hmm. It's great you're bringing that up, because he's been giving his own account. He said, first off, and this is just based on what EOCO has released, that he bought, first of all, the car from the streets. One Zach contacting him on WhatsApp, a basis for which he was able to establish contact, and then imported the vehicle as such. Would that form intent in any way, looking at the remits of the law?
I do not know the circumstance that he made those statements and whether he has made further statements. And so I don't want to judge based on what we have read. I'm only raising the issue as to whether he is a bona fide purchaser for value without notice, or he's someone who's keeping that property on behalf of another person. I don't want to go into the merits as to whether it constitutes the intent to commit crime. But let me push it this way. Shatta Wale is well known. He's someone that, as you indicated, he has a lot of following. My issue has to do with the bail condition. It is true that EOCO has the discretion to grant bail when you are invited as a suspect. But we may have to just go further and then widen the conversation to look at the exercise of that discretion. For some time now, I've been monitoring. It appears EOCO is falling in love with bail with justification. That's not wrong, but I'm saying if care is not taken and the way they are going, other institutions may soon also take the same course. The police CID has been in existence for years, And if you get a police CID, they can tell you that it's only on few occasions that they may demand bail with justification. That's always been the court that will determine whether to justify or not justify it.
I see.
In the circumstance of this case, I would have done in a different way. 10 million, fine, but it should be without justification.
Yeah.
And to avoid a situation whereby he may even run away, you may want to deposit his passport.
Yeah.
And so all these things that we are looking at, people mastering up, could have been avoided. And so EOCO have to look at how they look at bail presently. EOCO is not a new institution. They can look into their files and they may want to apprise us, the public.
And this actually explains why we're seeing lots of his fans say, just temper justice with mercy. But Honorable Tubu, the point about the bigger picture, this vehicle moved through our ports. That's supposed to be the first layer of national security checks. Nothing of that sort was done. We understand the problem is even bigger based on the conversation we've had with EOCO on this. How do we sanitize the system? Because Ghana is gradually, according to Interpol, becoming a hot spot, lucrative, spot for stolen vehicles from Canada, especially, we understand.
The truth is that when you say you bought a property from the street, and even if you're going to pay cash, $150,000, at least you pay that cash to somebody who will not turn around to say, I didn't collect any money from you. There should be documentation for payment. I don't have a problem with Shatta buying a vehicle. Shatta has what it takes to buy that vehicle. But should Shatta buy a vehicle knowing that it is a property from proceeds of crime? Is he aware of it? If he's not aware of it, then he's come to know that, this is how it is. Then probably he needs to show who collected the money. You bought it on the street. Did you deposit this money in a bank account? It widens the investigations and it helps international crime management. All of us. Shatta himself can probably be defrauded or duped by somebody outside this country. And it requires authority to collaborate with other authorities in another country to investigate the matter to assess Shatta. So we are looking at the bigger picture. It's not just about Shatta. But it's about the fact that if he has gotten himself in the web unknowingly, the state of Ghana should probably grant him some education.
In a minute, deal with this for me. EOCO, we understand, has a database from the Canadian Mounted Police and also Interpol. Is it time the list was published, just for clarity, so people in possession of those vehicles can run the VIN checks and then submit the vehicles if they have to avoid this public ridicule, if you want to call it as such?
I'm quite sure if you're buying a vehicle over $100,000, there is a way to check it. Even if you talk to customs, there's a way to check it. Very particular, if it is not a brand new vehicle. There's a way to check it. There's a way for Interpol to assist you to check, to ensure that you are not buying anything that is of a stolen, from a stolen person or from a crime, or getting a property from crime. But what I'm saying is that I think that I want to share an idea which supports the position of Chiayabua about bail. When you talk about stringent conditions for bail, it is the gravity of the offense and the probability of the person escaping that bring these stringent conditions. But somebody like Shatta, I think that I will side with Chiayabua. Look, if you talk about justification, if it's a court of law, fine, but at EOCO level, and looking at where will Shatta go, where is he going to go to? I mean, and the fact that this is a crime that was committed outside this country.
Yeah, I get it.
If he deliberately facilitated, but there's a way to handle it. I'm sure that we probably will not be heightening international or national security with this matter if it is handled in another way around. I think the EOCO has a lot of discretion, and I'm sure my good friend, the EOCO boss, will look at it again, and then probably by tomorrow we will have our peace, and the case will still continue anyway.
The scores of fans we've spoken to today are simply appealing to Raymond Acha, the EOCO boss, to let him go, so the issues are dealt with in a diplomatic manner. We wait to see what EOCO would say furthermore. But the concern now is also about the vehicle dealers and asset dealers who say their businesses are being heavily reeling under this whole perception that almost all second-hand cars are stolen. Frank Atalne Kofiga is joining us. Frank, apologies because of time. In just a minute, state your case to us as vehicle and asset dealers. What do you want from government?
I think what we need from government right now is legislation. What we need from government right now is to go back to the the draft standardization that we have put together, okay, with the assemblies, I think the situation happening right now is very clear. Who is the dealer? Okay, we have a lot of unscrupulous people sitting in their rooms doing these things, and at the end of the day, the vehicle dealer who is legitimately doing his work, transferring money through the right channels and the right sources and filing their taxes is to be blamed for this. So now the question is, who is that automobile dealer? Okay, every dealer in Ghana registered under the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union is a card-bearing member and whose garage can easily be located. Okay, so these are the issues that government needs to look at, because it just throws a blanket cover on everybody, on all dealers, and we become the source for some of these things, which necessarily shouldn't be.
Indeed, that should not be the case. And Kofi, apologies, we've run out of time. We need to go. Thank you, gentlemen. Alfred Tiayaba, former Deputy Attorney General, Peter Lonchini Tubu, Wale West MP, and also Frank Atanli Kofiga, Executive Secretary for the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union. And Frank, I just want you to hold on, because I want to bring in EOCO. Then, of course, we get your final thoughts on this, Frank. The fact that EOCO is indicating to us that the case surrounding Shatta Wale may be far from over. The fact that going forward, they're probing the possibility as to whether or not he's in possession of more of such vehicles. Here's the head of legal at EOCO, Leo Anthony Siama, speaking last night with me on Upfront.
Investigations are time-consuming and lengthy processes, and by virtue of the fact that we found one, it could possibly mean that there are others. So we have to extend our investigations. Yes, and at this time, because it's an ongoing and active investigations, I will not elaborate more in terms of things that we have found. Yes.
In such a situation, will you refund? It's a controversial question, but will you refund? If someone in Canada says, that's my car, is in Ghana, but I paid for it as well, are you refunding? Are you paying the people back? Are you paying the dealers back?
No. EOCO is not in the business of refunding anything to anyone. Ours is to ensure that the stolen vehicles are retrieved. Now, again, I keep emphasizing on the due diligence, because if you can show or prove that you have done enough due diligence, that arms you with a cause of action against the person you bought the vehicle from to retrieve your money in a civil suit. That's the best you got.
Oh, so you could... Okay, great points there. Frank, before we go, your final points?
Final point is very simple.
Frank, apologies there, but I hope you can hear me. The marching orders from EOCO now. We seem to have lost Frank Atanli Kofiga, Executive Secretary for the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union there, making the point, a passionate appeal there to government to try and, sanitize the imports and exports space. But that's it for Top Story. I'm Blessed Sogah. Next is Newsnight. Please stay.
30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Newsnight.
Well, this bulletin is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Well, tonight, the cost of carelessness, medical negligence drains 10 million cedis annually from Ghana's healthcare system. We have more from Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando. We'll also speak to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, which has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to the Ghana Police Service to arrest the ringleader and his accomplices behind the attack on healthcare workers at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital.
Also coming up tonight, the Ghana Chamber of Mines cautions the Minerals Commission to tread cautiously with a raft of new proposals, including reducing the lease duration from 30 years to 15, warning it could have grave consequences from discouraging investors to threatening jobs.
Around investment decisions and the risk that comes with the country. And therefore, we need to have a second look at it.
Owners of garage accuse EOCO, Customs and the DVLA as being complicit in the trafficking of stolen vehicles, insisting they cannot take all the blame.
How come they are unable to tell at the port that these cars are stolen until after they are on the market or even after they have been bought? All these cars undergo the necessary checks, so if they are stolen cars in the country, then it's the fault of EOCO and national security.
We'll hear from the DVLA, which says it cannot be blamed.
DVLA really has no other means of verification of a vehicle that comes in, apart from what Customs gives us.
In business,
President John Mahama warns over-regulating the telecom space will kill innovation and affect efforts to reduce unemployment in the country.
And in sports, former Black Stars coach, assistant coach Maxwell Kunedu named new Black Starlets head coach.
And a bit later, Santahima's final funeral rite set for September 14th to 18th. Ban on gatherings announced. We'll be live in Kumasi for more. We have details of these and many other stories coming up tonight. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
You can join the conversation on our WhatsApp platform at 055 11 11 997. We have details after this.
Small money day, big money day, where too much money day. Telecel Too Much Money promo drop. If you dial *500#, then join them. For the Telecel Too Much Money promo inside, you will win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points with it make you win. Make you dial *500# or go the Telecel Play app top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA way they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me down my dark with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
No. You look so relaxed and cheerful these days. What's your secret?
No secret, Kofi. I just sorted out my retirement with Shield Pension Trust. You should talk to them.
Retirement? There's more time before pension.
Share. The earlier you start, the better. And Shield Pension Trust makes this so easy for you. They've got amazing plans to choose from. I even signed up for the Shield Cedi Crow a day personal pension scheme, which lets you save as little as 1 Ghana cedi a day towards your retirement. Isn't that great?
1 cedi a day.
Exactly. And the best part is, I sign up automatically on the Dachia Pomoden plan, which guarantees me medical insurance when I go on retirement.
Hey, you've convinced me. I need to sign up now.
Kofi is making a move to secure his future and health insurance when he goes on retirement. What about you? Go to Shield Pension Trust or call us now on 050-915-0253 and we'll guide you through securing your pension tomorrow. Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you.
Mamenka baby kakran fa makoma mu hene ho nkyerɛ wo. Obbo me ne mabusua ho ban.
Me de no hwɛ me busua. Fi awon to aso so kwa awon to aso so.
Hwɛ, mamenka kyerɛ wo. Me de mama sere dan ne da.
Me de no kyerɛ papa. De tiri kwa sa be bia ye obi wo ho.
Aba, emeya hyase bio. Nti bu wuranom na mo kanfo mo sa no.
Oh, Debbie. Pepsodent 200 grams for no ho asem na ye ka yo. Eye kokoko.
Pepsodent kokoko promo no nie. Eye Pepsodent kɛse dada no a. Na ye de 25 grams aka ho. Jiwo de na ba wo busua ho ban. Na hye wo semu de. FDA aji guardian craft way.
Hello, Adwa.
Ma, we the new crowd.
Your wedding ring?
No, new
Jamal washing powder. Kate tells me it removes stains, has a nice fragrance, not harsh on your hands, and it foams well.
New Jamal washing powder. Let's add 30 sacks to Kate's engagement list.
Hey, ma.
New Jamal washing powder for cleaner, fresher wash. Your partner for clean clothes. This advert is FDA approved.
Jamal.
Well, thank you very much for joining us again here on Newsnight. Once again, you can join the conversation on our WhatsApp platform. It's 055 11 11 997. This is where we begin because the Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando has sounded the alarm over the alarming rate of medical negligence in the country's health sector, revealing that approximately 10 million cedis are spent annually to address these issues. Describing medical negligence as a monster rearing its head, Mr. Kando assured that the government is committed to tackling the problem head-on. Well, he was addressing the media on developments after the alleged assault on some nurses at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital last Sunday.
Medical negligence. Anytime I hear that, I clinch. We spend not less than, even in some cases, one facility, not less than 10 million Ghana cedis on medical negligence. Maybe you don't know. As a country, we don't have the money to buy the equipment, but we are spending so much. As I speak to you now, the cases on my table within this week are 3 that Attorney General has written to me to provide responses. Medical negligence. So it's a major issue that we are dealing with. So there are things we are discussing. I cannot put everything in the public domain at the moment. And at the appropriate time, we may address you on medical negligence. It's a monster rearing its head that we must deal with appropriately.
That there is the Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando sounding that alarm over medical negligence there.
Well, so the minister also issued a strong warning to persons who attack health workers to desist from doing so.
Well, the minister has also issued a strong warning to persons who attacked health workers to desist from doing so.
Let me at this point reiterate to the whole country that irrespective of the level of provocation at any health facility in this country, nobody, irrespective of your status in society, absolutely nobody has the right to attack any health professional in this country. That is the gravamen of the issue. No diversionary tactics about handshaking. That is what we must concentrate on, to send a clear signal that our health professionals working at the various health facilities are safe.
You heard that the Health Minister, Dr. Kwabena Minta Kando.
The Association of Health Service Administrators, Ghana, which has condemned the alleged assault, has called on the security agencies to swiftly investigate and bring the perpetrators to book. The association warns such acts not only endanger the safety of medical staff, but also undermine the delivery of quality healthcare. Let's hear from the General Secretary of the association, Abdul Rashid Mohammed.
After the engagement with the management, when I pulled out of the wards, then in fact, in the engagement with the management, I made it clear to them that I had listened to their side of
health professionals have sworn to protect the life of the vulnerable and sick. And so there should not be any circumstance that will warrant the same persons that we have sworn to protect inflict pain and harm on us when we are actually there to help and save them. We do admit that there are excesses, some few excesses, but there are always avenues like the Office of the Health Administrator to solve such problems. If a client comes and something arises, that is the place that all of us need to go to ensure that whatever problem that we have is addressed. And in this particular case, we do not think that anybody intended to discriminate against anyone. Just that people don't know how the system works. And if you go to a place where you don't understand the system, the best thing is to find out. And we think that that was not done. That is why we are where we are today. We are calling on the security agencies to act and act on this decisively. We need cases such as this to serve professionals have sworn so that others will learn to protect the life of the vulnerable and sick. And so there should not be any circumstance that will warrant the same persons that we have sworn to protect inflict pain and harm on us.
Well, the Health Ministry says it wants to tackle complaints in assessing healthcare head-on and has thus set up special correspondents to deal with complaints. My colleague Michael Ashale is in the studio to help us understand details of that particular correspondence.
Well, Kenneth, if you're asking about the minister's statement, so we've just seen that right after his press conference, he put out a particular flyer where he's sort of trying to collate or give room for medical professionals or those within the hospital health facilities have a channel to sort of respond or report some incidents of this that has reared its head in recent times here. So it sort of gives the details as that you can call two numbers, 020-688-788-2882 or 020-688-7884, and then there's an email attached to it. It says that complaints@moh.gov.gh. These individuals first of all have an opportunity to also report to their various HRs, and that does not happen, or they want to escalate it to the ministry, then they can use any of these lines.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael Ashale, for that details, Pearl.
Well, Kenneth, we also know that the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Rashid Pelpo, told the Public Accounts Committee that he has summoned the Labour Commission over the attack on a nurse at the Ridge Hospital.
Labour Commission, which has all the duties of ensuring that single issues like these are handled effectively. So I have called a meeting with them, and they would look at it more comprehensively and advise on what next they will need to strengthen their own capacity to make sure the whole country is covered. The Labour Commission has requested that it will be of great importance if we can have regional offices which will look at it comprehensively throughout the country, so we don't have situations where there will be a situation which is out of reach with our duty to individual workers.
So you will recall that the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association gave a 48-hour ultimatum to the Ghana Police Service to arrest Ralph St. Williams, the man at the center of the issues, and his accomplices. Well, that ultimatum elapsed at 4 p.m. earlier today. Well, the association held an emergency national executive meeting a while ago to determine their next line of action. And joining me on the telephone lines is the General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Mr. David Tinkran. I also have on Zoom CDD's Kwame Esiedu Sapon. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. But let me start with you, David. The association's 48-hour ultimatum to government ended at 4 p.m. What next for you?
Thank you very much. Good evening. Good evening to your cherished listeners and the great minds on the other call. Indeed, the ultimatum was facts. We have released a statement after the minister's press conference. We held an emergency National Executive Committee meeting, and based on that, we have come up with a statement. I'm sure your station is here to cite it. But what we are trying to say is that we have studied the issues we have reviewed, the position of quite a number of things. We sent people to the emergency department to look at how populated the area is. We have had series of conversations with security agencies, especially the police. They've given us palpable assurance apart from the fact that one of the associates of Ralph St. Williams have been arrested. They are doing everything possible within their mandate to bring the chief perpetrator of this heinous crime and his associates to face the full rigors of the law. Based on those considerations and the maximum support and solidarity we have had from sister unions and the good people of Ghana, the well-meaning people of Ghana, we have taken a decision to support the investigation and to continue to dialogue with the management of the hospital and other security agencies, as aforementioned, and the employer to make sure that we get to the bottom of this matter and to also support the employer and the committee that have been put together to comprehensively come up with a solution that will deal once and for all some of these infractions that threatens the peaceful coexistence of healthcare workers who have been trained and licensed to offer essential services to the good people of Ghana.
Okay, Mr. Tinkran, you've had the minister say at a press conference today that those who are launching personal attacks against his person should desist from that. Do you have any reaction to it?
I'm not too sure anybody has any qualms with the minister. We cannot launch any personal attacks on him, but we will always speak truth to power. We respect him, we love him, we want to support him succeed, but certainly not at the detriment of necessary midwives in Ghana.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. David Tinkran is the General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Let me now bring in CDD Ghana's Kwame Esiedu Sapon. Grateful for your time this evening. He's joining us on Zoom. 10 million Ghana cedis lost annually due to medical negligence. That's quite a huge amount of money. What really should we do to stop this from recurring every year?
Thank you, and good evening today. You see, it's an interesting question you're asking. What we need to do, we need to have context. Medical negligence is a massive problem globally. Most countries, in fact, in the West, it's more serious because lawsuits fly all over the place. And therefore, in the UK where I practice, every professional has to have professional indemnity insurance, because even if your organization is sued, you can be sued individually for your actions or inactions if it is perceived that it has led to untoward conditions to a patient. So that is known. But you see, I want to put this into context. The minister has raised the issue of medical negligence because of the incident that happened in Rich Hospital, and perhaps statements that have been made by Ralph regarding the fact that he lost a sister due to perceived medical negligence, and the fact that that was his trigger point based on the circumstances of the day when all this came up. I have had the opportunity, and I'm quite sure, Blessed, you have, to watch the CCTV because it's now public aspect of the CCTV. And I've seen what went on. For me, if you put the minister's statement, what I've seen on CCTV, which indicates that there most likely was some other aggression. There was aggression. Because you see, you have to put it in context. As a health professional, the last thing I'll condone, because even if you come to the facilities that I operate in the UK, One of the notices on the wall is that we reserve the right to refuse his service if you are verbally, physically, or emotionally abusive to our professionals. It is clearly stated at every point. So I'm not one who would condone any form of aggression, whether it is verbal, physical, or emotional, because the health professional, one of whom I am, doesn't deserve that. But again, I am not one who would condone medical negligence because it comes as a cost to the facility, and even the insurance cover is a huge problem.
The concern really is that most of the time these health professionals who engage in this medical negligence are not held to high account. Do you think it's about time, we held them to high account?
That is why, Blessed, are making the balance, because it is a fine balance globally. And that is why I am saying that the minister had to bring this up, because the main perpetrator had raised issues with that. But that doesn't take away the fact that even if you have an issue with medical negligence, there's a process by which you get that addressed. You do not take it out on the health professional. That I wouldn't condone. So yes, it has to be dealt with because it's becoming a huge cost for the Ghana Health Service. And I'm sure that, Dr. Tinkwa would not run away from it, and I wouldn't run away from it because we've been on other platforms when him and I have discussed this holistically. But what we need to look at is, does that warrant an attack on a health professional? And my answer is no. Then finally, what I would say, you asked Dr. Tinkra David, the Minister of Health, has made a statement around attacking his person. Though David is my brother, I'll say to him, and as health professionals and as professionals, I think some of his utterances have not helped the situation regarding it coming across as though he was attacking the health minister. And I say this, and I make a caveat to it. Everyone knows that Kodani Takanda has been a friend right before he became health minister, and I never ran away from it. In fact, I was with him at Omane Buhari's funeral just last week, and everyone knows that. But I'm one person who, even if my best friend goes wrong, I tell it publicly. I've even clashed with my own brother on your networks, and you guys know that because he holds a different portfolio than I do.
Okay.
So I am saying this to the point that maybe at certain points emotions took the better part of Dr. Tinkran, and that's fine. We all are emotional animals. But I think we need to take the emotions out because there are so many things staying up here. There could be an issue for, action against the perpetrators based on the CCTV I've seen. And I raise my hand to that if that happens, that should happen because health professionals don't deserve that.
Okay. Mr. Kwame Saponesiedu, thank you very much. He's with CDD Ghana.
Well, Kenneth, away from health-related issues, the Chamber of Mines is warning the Minerals Commission to tread carefully with its radical shake-up of mining laws. On Wednesday, the Commission reviewed that lease durations will be slashed from 30 years to 15, with renewals capped at just 10 years. The Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Martin Ayisi, made the revelation during an engagement on the overview of the mining regime in Ghana. My colleague Maxwell Aklobotu has more in this report read to you.
The Minerals Commission has outlined major reforms to Ghana's mining laws governing the registration and operation of mining firms. Among them is a new limit on the duration of mining leases. Chief Executive Officer Martin Ayisi explained that the 30-year leases have not benefited the nation as companies often fail to undertake extensive exploration. He says this makes it necessary to restrict leases to a maximum of 15 years.
There is no need to give these 30-year leases. It's never helped us. So we have decided that now the upper limit of mining leases should be 15 years.
He also revealed the abolition of development agreement, which granted some mining companies special terms beyond the standard leases.
We have decided to now abolish development agreements. So all these issues of development agreements, investment agreements where countries are giving, some companies are giving some special arrangements. We're taking them from the law.
Well, meanwhile, Director of Analysis, Research and Finance at the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Christopher Nyako, says the proposal, if implemented, will hurt the industry and may deter investments in the sector. He explained why.
Our position is that this impacts on the sustainability and the viability of the mining industry. I mean, essentially strikes at the heart of the long-term sustainability of the mining industry. And our position is because, one, it has implications on the security of the lease. And once you are going to touch the security of a mining lease, it also has implications on the risk profile of the country and the investment decisions that follow thereof. So generally, investors are going to take a short-term view or a short-term approach as far as mining is concerned when it comes to Ghana.
The Chamber of Mines is proposing that the renewal should... Well, the Chamber of Mines is proposing that the renewal should rather be tied to the viability and project economics and not a fixed-term upper limit.
Okay. So our position as a chamber on this matter is that you should tie the renewals to the project's own economics. So if a company has undertaken exploration and the exploration is showing that maybe there's a life of mine of 10 years or a life of mine of 15 years, a life of mine of 20 years, let's tie the renewal period to the economics of that particular project. Right. It should not be a fixed upper limit to say it will just be one time or whatever, one time 10 years, one time 5 years. But all we are just saying is that don't put a ceiling on it. It should be tied to the project of the economics.
Well, news just coming in indicates that Ghanaian dancehall artist Shatta Wale has been released on bail by the Economic and Organized Crime Office EOCO in the sum of 10 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. He was detained on Wednesday, the 20th of August, for questioning over his purchase of a Lamborghini Urus, which U.S. authorities claimed is linked to proceeds from a $4 million crime involving Ghanaian national Nana Kwabena Amoah. Well, here's Shatta Wale's manager, Sammy Flex, confirming his release to Joy News a while ago.
I'm here to supply information to you guys, and that's it. The good news is that Shatta Wale has been granted bail and he has been released. Finally, at the moment, he's been released to go home. Once again, another good news is that the bail conditions was reduced from 10 million to 5 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. And that is what we are all happy about. So I want to say we are grateful. God bless you so much, and thank you for your continued support. Shatta Wale is ever grateful to you guys for whatever you've done for him.
So that there is the manager of Shatta Wale, Sammy Flex, confirming the release of the dancehall star, and the bail conditions have been varied. They were reduced from 10 to 5 million Ghana cedis. And of course, George Yafe is here already, calculating his numbers and ready for business. George, what do you have for us?
A lot happening in business, and President John Mahama is warning that over-regulating the telecom space could kill innovation and affect efforts to reduce unemployment in the country. And Bank of Ghana vows to meet all genuine dollar needs of large companies despite recent directive on payment and withdrawals of foreign currencies from commercial banks. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your offers, essentials, Sinter's tanks, and Pepsodent, Herbal, and Charcoal.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper, so you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is not all right. I'm not seeing Topo. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no.
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look. The video freezes again. Abba.
By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband.
from the internet masters.
MTN, everywhere you go. Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Center Point Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Cavity protection.
This advert is FDA approved.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school. A farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, a refreshing bath with Alive soap leaves you feeling fresh and brimming with confidence. Available in lemon, coconut, rose, and aloe vera. Alive soap. Feel fresh. Feel alive. This advert is FDA approved.
Alive soap, Alive soap, Alive soap. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. Money we define, every day and night. Mama, dada keep on hustling for the family. The luckiest. Yeah, star 712 hash. You can win some cash. You can be the luckiest with 1 CD. Luckiest with 5,000. The luckiest. The teacher got the market woman. You can be the luckiest. Luck is everywhere, for everyone. You can be the luckiest. The luckiest. Luck is everywhere, yeah, for everyone. Yeah. Star 712 hash. Luck is everywhere. Luck is everywhere. Oh, tell me, are you feeling lucky? Because I'm feeling lucky. Because I'm feeling like the ultimate. That we go win. If I win, you win. You could be the luckiest. Saswabo. Sasso, sasso, simple tonton frère. Sasso, sasso,
Sasso, me se kumen tonton preko. Kumen tonton preko. Sasso, kum tonton preko. Nani sham ne die, demonstronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, President John Mahama is making a strong case for the country to take a second look at how it regulates the telecom space. Speaking at the program in Japan, the president warned that over-regulating that sector could kill innovation and affect efforts to deal with unemployment in the country.
The private sector is not Father Christmas. It will go where it can get a good rate of return on investment. And so it's government's duty to create the space for the public sector to exercise its creativity. And that is what we need to reorient the public sector to do. I was Minister of Communications in the early days when the tech ICT sector was exploding, and people were coming home and asking for licenses to set up internet cafes. And if you saw our regulator and the conditions you had to meet and all that, I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, by the time you go through that list, you'll not be able to start anything. And so when I became minister, I said, but why license them? If you want to set up an internet cafe, why don't you just open it if you have the investment? And when we did, internet cafes exploded across the country. They didn't cause any harm. They didn't lead to any coup d'etat, nothing. When we're liberalizing our telecom space, they said, oh, telecom is so important. You cannot give it to the private sector. You know, it's sensitive. The CIA would listening to our conversations and all that. I mean, today, look at the telecom sector.
President John Mahama speaking on a panel discussion program in Japan. Now, the Bank of Ghana has given the firm assurance that it would move to meet all genuine dollar needs of large businesses in the country. Now, this is coming after it announced a new set of directive that is seeking to restrict dollar payments to businesses over the counter. There is more in this report.
The Bank of Ghana in the statement said it is committed to supporting the operations of large corporates, recognizing their critical role in sustaining petroleum supply, mineral export, and other essential sectors of Ghana's economy. It also argued to this end, the bank in partnership with the government has put in place mechanisms to source and provide foreign exchange liquidity to meet legitimate import obligations of large corporates. The central bank said these measures are designed to safeguard market stability while ensuring vital supply chains remains uninterrupted. According to the central bank, this action is part of measures to deal with the recent pressure on the Ghana cedi.
And that is the DEX report. Meanwhile, the commercial banks say they fully support the actions taken by the Bank of Ghana. They are ruling out any negative impact on the operations going forward. John Ewa is the chief executive of the Ghana Association of Banks.
Because in our view, the significant cash withdrawal over the counter, we don't see the merit or the justification for such huge withdrawals. If you ask me as a banker that if someone came to a branch and withdrew $1 million, what possibly that company will be using the $1 million for, I will not be able to tell you. I can't pin my hand on anything that the dollar is going to do, apart from potentially going to fund some illicit activity that perhaps we do not have the evidence to support. So we are very much in the same boat with the Bank of Ghana, that our legal tender in this country is one currency, and that is the Ghana cedi. And our big corporations must learn to use the cedi in which they earn their revenue. If you ask me, this rather should help facilitate foreign currency transactions for those who really need the currency. If somebody is coming to your branch to withdraw $2 million, that one withdrawal is going to affect about.
John Ewa is the chief executive of the Ghana Association of Banks. Now, finance and economics professor Godfrey Buckin has urged government to exercise some caution in its plan to scrap the minimum capital requirement for foreign investors. Speaking to Joy Business at the Prudential Bank Special Customer Seminar on Appreciation of the Ghana Cedi, Professor Bobkin said while the proposal may boost foreign investment inflows, it could also expose local enterprises to unfair competition.
I think we need to manage it very well so that we benefit optimally from the foreign direct investment, because we have seen that over the years the intended benefit from this FDI, even sometimes we have given tax concessions and all of that in the name that they will create jobs and all of that, but we haven't seen those jobs being created. I mean, the World Bank is telling us that between 2012 and 2023, on net basis, just around 250,000 jobs have been created. When we are talking about people entering the labor market, we are talking about people in excess of 2.7 million or so and all of that. So I'm sure that might have informed the president's drive to say that, look, we are willing to go the extra mile and all of that, but I think we need to manage it very well.
Finance and economics professor Godfred Popkin to the stock market. If you are a shareholder of MTN Ghana, or each share that you are holding was up by 3 pesos to close at 3 Ghana cedis, 88 pesos. That of GOA was also up by 2 pesos to close at 2 Ghana cedis, 23 pesos. If you had invested on the market from the beginning of the year to now, you made more than 50% on your investment. And Kenneth, guess who is coming to dinner tonight on PM Express Business Edition? Will be engaging the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi-Sapon, on development in the tax and revenue space. And what is the Ghana Revenue Authority doing to deal with all the challenges? Is at 9 p.m. on Join News and all our social media platforms. Make a date and hear the Commissioner General on development in the revenue space, the VAT issues, the recent challenge of the National Education Authority, and what is their position on that one. And that's all for business. Let's do sports, and in no time is kicking for our invitational tournament, and I just can't wait to be there.
Yeah, the countdown is on for the 2025 Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, which is scheduled for Saturday. 48 organizations will gather at the University of Ghana Stadium in just 2 days to compete in a variety of disciplines. This year's event is sponsored by Royal Sweet Limited, Ayuda Hub, the Game Energy Drink, Yomi Yogurt, and the Luckiest. Now, former Black Galaxies head coach Maxwell Kunedu has been named the new head coach for Ghana's Black Satellites. There's the under-20 national team. He replaces Desmond Ofer, who previously led the side. Kunedu, in his long coaching career, has seen him manage several top-flight clubs in the Ghana Premier League, including stints at Asante Kotoko, 11 Wonders, Legon Cities, and most recently in Swaziland FC. He guided Kotoko to the Ghana Premier League title back in 2012 and won the President's Cup in 2019. He also won the Wafu Cup of Nations in 2017 with the Black Galaxies. Now, one area where Kunedu will rely on in terms of talent identification is the GFA Elite Academy, which concluded scouting in the Bono region earlier today. Former Midiama captain Joseph Tete Zuta, who now serves as a manager for the GFA Elite Academy, disclosed the success of the exercise.
We just finished writing the BEC, the Basic Education Certificate Examination, and are awaiting their results. We are looking at those who were born 2010, 2011, and to some extent 2012. So if you are not within these categories, you don't qualify to be in the GFA Elite Academy. So basically, we let our scout some potential players in and around the region, and then they screen them, and then they brought them here. So we are here to the final selection.
Joseph Tete Zuta is now the manager of the GFA Elite Academy. Now, Crystal Palace forward Eberichi Eze will not feature in tonight's UEFA Conference League qualifier as he nears a move to Arsenal. The England winger is expected to complete his medical tomorrow with an official announcement set for the weekend. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Daniel Crontin, for the latest in the world of sports. Now, if you own a Honda CR-V, Ford F-150, Range Rover or Dodge, then brace up. Your vehicle is among those flagged as highly suspicious in the Economic and Organized Crime Office's latest crackdown on stolen cars. EOCO says Ghana has become a lucrative hub for vehicles stolen abroad, particularly from Canada. Speaking on Upfront with Blessed Sogah, head of EOCO's legal unit, Leo Anthony Siama, revealed that certain brands remain prime targets for organized crime.
There are certain types of vehicles that are suspicious. So, for instance, off-head, the Honda CR-V series, the Ford F-150, the Range Rover, and I think the Dodge Ram. Those particular vehicles. These are 4 brands. These are 4 brands that are very high in terms of the number of stolen vehicles that recover. Most of them happen to be these vehicles. So obviously, if you are going to purchase a vehicle and you want to purchase one of those vehicles, that should be a red flag for you. Secondly, if you also look at the Ghanaian market, the Ghanaian market used to be about the sale or dealing in vehicles that had been involved in accidents outside.
Salvage vehicles.
So again, if you are buying a vehicle or you look at one of those vehicles that was recently released, maybe a 2023 model, 2024 model, which is accident-free, it should be a red flag for you. That should be something to point you at doing extra. For instance, to go to the DVL, to go to the to Interpol to find out whether or not that car status is stolen. So it has to do with identification of the vehicle, the type of vehicle you're buying, the ones that will initially or promptly raise red flags whilst you want to undertake this purchase, because the obligation is on the purchaser. We are looking at the status of a vehicle.
Someone is asking that would you go after a Toyota Corolla, for instance?
Yes.
Would you?
We've gone after I think we have a couple of Toyota Highlanders.
We've got. No, that's a Highlander.
That's a Highlander. Well, in our defense, we've gone for. So, would you consider an Accord? We have Accords. So it's not like we are having preference.
Well, in the crash garages, car dealers are pointing fingers at the very agencies meant to regulate them, accusing EOCO, Customs and the DVLA of enabling the stolen vehicle trade. Well, the traders say they should not be scapegoated for unknowingly importing or selling stolen cars, arguing the security agencies must answer for how such vehicles enter Ghana in the first place. They spoke to my colleague Benedicta Adobia Asari.
The whole thing is car if carcass if US and Canada. Na car if because you bring our machines in airport. Or one say car is stolen no. But car back Ghana be do here no pay. Ghana say EOCO say car is stolen.
National Security and EOCO are to blame for the stolen vehicles in the country. How come they are unable to tell at the port that these cars are stolen until after they are on the market or even after they have been bought? It's unfair and unacceptable.
Because one, you could phone national security for. There's no way, say, car. I realize
our leaders aren't helping us. There's no way EOCO and National Security won't inspect cars which arrive to the country from abroad. All these cars undergo the necessary checks, so if they are stolen cars in the country, then it's the fault of EOCO and National Security. Why would they wait for us to clear cars and sell them before saying it's stolen?
Kawe a stolen to the port na say be containers wa on be check and sana ya car no.
Well, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, says it does not have the means to determine if a vehicle brought for registration is stolen or not. Director of Corporate Affairs at DVLA, Stephen Atu, says the vehicle is cleared by the Customs Division. They have no reason to stop the registration.
Before you come to us, you would have gone through the customs clearance and come to us with an indication, a clearance from customs indicating that this vehicle is cleared with us with all the documentation and record. You can go ahead and register the vehicle in the name of the individual.
Right.
That's how we come in. So it becomes very difficult to say that DVLA can spot a stolen vehicle at the point of registration. So the point is, even in Ghana, even inland, if a person commits a crime and the crime is not reported, it's difficult for anybody to know that a crime has been committed. That's the whole thing. So the same way, it is possible for a person to steal a vehicle from, say, Canada.
Right.
And to the extent that the car owner from whom the car is stolen has not reported, it becomes difficult for you to know that this car is a stolen vehicle. Now, how did they even get the clearance to place that vehicle on ship to land on our shores to be cleared here? So the only way, so I think sometimes we should not be overly dramatic over some of the concerns that are being raised. But the point is, if the concern that is being raised about stolen cars coming into Ghana, there's no way of identifying those vehicles that have come into the country, then that becomes a subject of concern.
Yeah, the Director of Corporate Affairs at the DVLA, Stephen Atu. Now, joining us right now is a private legal practitioner, Jude Atakara Tufo. Good evening and thank you for your time on Newsnight. Just want to find out, should I be legally responsible for innocently buying a car believed to be stolen when DVLA, the Customs Division, and EOCO should have done their checks before I bought it?
Well, hello, good evening.
Good evening. I was just finding out, I don't know if you had the question, but I was just finding out from you if I should be held responsible for innocently buying a car believed to be stolen when DVLA, the Customs Division, and EOCO should have done their checks before I bought it.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. If you could speak up a little bit.
Okay, let's try it again. Was just finding out if, as an individual who's going to buy a car, I should be held legally responsible for innocently buying a vehicle believed to be stolen when DVLA, the Customs Division, and EOCO should have done their checks before I bought it.
Right. Thank you, and good evening to your listeners. And this question normally comes up when a report is made, usually with the state authorities and duty bodies such as EOCO, the police, as you already mentioned. However, you must note that there are many times or instances where, and I like the word you have used, an innocent party or innocent person may buy a car, and it may end up that the car in question is the subject of a stolen item. The position of law is quite straightforward.
Okay.
In law, we have something we call you cannot give what you don't own. So basically, when we say that, it means that if you buy a car as innocent as possible from another person, where that car is the subject of theft, the law says that generally, if you are a good faith purchaser, which comes back to the word we used earlier on, that is innocent, then basically the law has some room to give you to be able to claim ownership to that car.
Okay.
Generally, a thief or a car which is a subject of theft has no room for an innocent party. What I mean by this is that if a party steals a car, or a car is a subject of theft, which is sold to another party, that party can never claim ownership or can never have title in that car.
Okay.
However, the law creates room for what we call an avoidable title. There are instances in the Sale of Goods Act where a buyer may be considered as an innocent buyer. And these are times where that innocent buyer buys goods from someone who had goods in his possession from an original owner through misrepresentation or some other means on the basis of a sale. And so under those circumstances, an innocent buyer can be allowed to own the goods under the law, provided an original owner does not come back claiming ownership from that innocent party. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we must try and create the distinction between theft or a stolen car as against instances where an innocent party may be considered. So where there is theft involved, we don't have any issue of someone being an innocent buyer. Okay?
Yes.
However, if the goods get into your possession after a purchase on the basis that you are an innocent buyer, the only way the law will recognize you as an innocent buyer is where a seller sold these goods to you or sold the car to you on the premise that they were selling it as if they were the owner. But they may have retrieved those goods through some misrepresentation.
Mr. Judah Takaratu is a private legal practitioner, and thank you so much for your time on Newsnight.
Well, let's now head to the Ashanti region because the Asante-Hene Otumfuo Seitu II has announced the final funeral rites of the late Asante-Hema Nana Kunedu Yadom III will take place from Sunday, September 14th to Thursday, September 18th, 2025. The rites, steeped in rich Ashanti tradition, are expected to draw chiefs, queen mothers, dignitaries, and mourners from across Ghana and beyond. Well, the palace says elaborate cultural displays, traditional mourning rituals, and homage-paying ceremonies will mark the occasion in honor of the late Queen Mother who passed away earlier this month. Well, let's stay in that particular region and speak to our resident correspondent, Nana Boachi Iyadom there. Nana, paint a picture for us. We know the one-week observation was held today. Tell us what happened and who were there.
Well, it was a very colorful event, a blend or a mix of culture and tradition today at the Mensah Palace, the bedroom, to be specific, where we had the 1 week observance of the late Asante Hema and Nana Kunedu Iyadom III. We had dignitaries, including the British High Commissioner to Ghana, the former President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo, the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We had former President John Ajekum Kufuor, former Ministers of State, and then members of the New Patriotic Party. We also had members of the National Democratic Congress, led by the National Chairman Johnson Asiedun Ketia. That aside, we had government delegation representing the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The delegation was led by the Vice President, Her Excellency Professor J. Nano Poku-Agyemang.
Well, Nana Boachi Iyadom reports from Kumasi in the Ashanti region. We have more on Joy News Prime later on the Joy News channel. Well, on our top story this evening, renowned Ghanaian musician Shatta Wale has been released on bail by the Economic and Organized Crime Office in the sum of 5 million cedis with 2 sureties after being detained on Wednesday for questioning over his purchase of a luxury car in 2019. Well, we'll leave you with a profile of the popular musician Shatta Wale. My name is Kenneth Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
Freedom. Guinean dancehall star Charles Nyama Mensah Jr., better known as Shatta Wale, remains arguably one of the country's most influential yet controversial. The 40-year-old first emerged as Bandana before rebranding as Shatta Wale in 2013.